Hey everyone, good morning. Today is, what is today? Tuesday, November the 5th. Today is election day, go out and vote. And my parents are actually on their way here from Kansas and they're not too far away. So I figured I will run you through all the glass items I just recently purchased at the Goodwill bins. So the Goodwill bins is the Goodwill outlet. A lot of people, when they hear the word bins, they automatically think of like the pallet places, and this is not that. This is kind of Goodwill's end of the road, right before the landfill. You go, you dig in these big bins, and you pay by the pound. So my sister and I took a weekend trip to Kansas City, and we went to, they have two up there. They have the Goodwill outlet, and then they also have a by the pound, which is, if you're familiar with Red Rack, it's kind of their end of the line, you know. So we just went there once, Friday evening when we got there, and then we spent the rest of the time at the Goodwill outlet. It's bigger, maybe a little bit better neighborhood, to where we felt a little more safer. And yeah, so, but all in all, I mean, they just had, the Goodwill outlet was just bigger, and it seemed like they rotated more, if that makes sense. So anyway, all right, so I have sort of a breakdown for you. I purchased, in the whole weekend, I purchased 57.39 pounds of glass. So 57 pounds of glass, crazy. What I spent $27.73. That is what you can get at the Goodwill bins on glass. It's crazy. You can, I'm trying to look to see if I have, if anything has any glass on it whatsoever, you can claim it as glass. It was 49 cents a pound. And yeah, and I'm looking at all of this thinking I forgot to bring in the most important find, and I will put that as my thumbnail. So, and I'll just tell you about it first off, because it was the find of the weekend. I am a vintage lover. I love vintage. I love to keep vintage. I love to sell vintage. And I found a vintage ceramic Christmas tree. And this is one of those that stand about yay tall. It has the lights on it. And yeah, so if I was to sell it, I would make $100 on it very easily, probably. But I am not going to sell it. I'm going to keep it. And it was in the bottom of this bin in glass, and it was kind of in the back, so people were having to reach, and they just weren't wanting to spend the time to reach, if that makes sense. And I just happened to pick up some other glass. I got a wound. There was a broken glass in there, and I saw it, and my heart rate like increased. I was like, I've got to get this tree out of here. It was a wonderful find. It had no chips, no cracks. I don't know how it didn't, because it was in this crazy, crazy bin full of broken glass. And people are not very careful with the glass. You can hear just glass, you know, breaking the entire time you're there. So anyway, yeah. So I will put that as my thumbnail. That way you guys see my find of the weekend. Out of everything I found, that was probably what I'm most happiest about, and I'm gonna keep it. So anyway, let's get going. I have over 50 items here. So clearly my cost of goods is so low on all of this. A lot of this will probably go in my flea market booth. This is kind of the way to go find things for your flea market booth if you have a flea market booth. I do very well at mine. A lot of people have trouble. I think location is a big key. Mine is situated down at the lake. in Kimberling City, Missouri. I have 2 little flea market booths. They're next to each other. One has all my vintage antiques. The other one has modern things. And that's kind of, I keep it separated. So people come in, you know, from out of town, they're at the lake, you know, maybe it's a rainy day, or maybe the women don't want to go out on the lake, or maybe they've been on the lake and they just want to go shop around. So I find I do very well down there. So it's about an hour away from me. When we moved up here from down there, I decided to keep it because I have done better at that flea market than others in the past. So I decided to keep it for now because I love going there and I do well, and yeah. So for now, I'm gonna keep both of them and see kind of what this next year brings. But anyway, let's get to it before the old parents get here. This is a Starbucks mug, and I looked it up last night. Some Starbucks mugs are collector mugs, and I've been washing glass, so it was in the dishwasher. Some people are selling this mug for $20+, and then others I saw where it sold for not very much. So I'm gonna do a little bit more looking, but there's that one. I have a crate here. I've washed the majority of this stuff. This is a vintage glass flower mug. A flower frog is what they call it. It helps you put this down into a jar or a vase, and it helps keep the flowers, you put their stems in, if that makes sense. I wasn't gonna get this because it definitely has a chip right here, but I went ahead and did it. I just went ahead and decided to purchase it. So someone will buy it even with the chip. I'm probably not gonna post it online, but it'll go. 2 vintage Whitehall glasses. If you ever find a set of these, the sets, especially still in the box, will sell for good money. I am kind of working on a project where I'm trying to collect the vintage colored glass that I find for maybe something in the future. And so I have a little tub in my storage unit where I'm starting to kind of keep these. So these I'm gonna keep for myself. And then if I never get to that project, then I will eventually sell it. It kind of like, you know how much vintage colored glass I found? And I'm like, why did I get rid of all that? And maybe one day I will show you guys what I'm thinking of. So I got 5 insulators, vintage insulators. These don't sell for much, really at all anymore, unless you get there are some very rare ones, some very rare colored glass. These are not them. But I saw where people are making little crafts and they're turning these into Christmas trees and putting them on vintage wooden posts and tying bows around them. And I thought, you know, I am gonna be in one craft fair this year, so I might try these with those. I don't know. I thought it's very cute. So I have the one big one, and here's kind of another big one. And then I have 3 small ones. And, you know, there's imperfections on them. That one big one is definitely cracked. So here's a little Fenton hobnail. I think it's technically like a sugar dish, but it looks pretty wide to be a sugar dish, so I'm not sure. I was kind of surprised no one grabbed this. It was crazy in the bins, guys. It was so crazy. I have 3 yellow depression glass. So this is like a sherbet custard dessert. And then I have 2 little teacups. Very pretty. They don't glow or anything, but you know, a lot of people just don't want to deal with glass anymore. This is just a vintage juicer that you put over a jar. It probably came with something, but it was by itself. It didn't have any chips or cracks on it. I picked up several old little saucers that are just so pretty. Look at that one. I'm sorry, I shut one of my lights off and it was causing like a huge glare. So now I hope it's not too dark, but this is a Gorham, and this is a Old Royal bone china, England. I just thought that was a really pretty pattern with the leaves and the little blue flowers. So I ended up with several saucers. All right, beautiful, no chips, no cracks. Look at that, anchor hocking. So I could sell this on eBay. There are people that have theirs listed for quite a bit. The ones that are actually selling are selling anywhere from like $11 up to $20. Is it gonna be worth it? I don't know. I think I'm gonna put this in my booth and see if I can just sell it in the booth, you know, for that amount, so I don't have to pack it and ship it. And then, you know, if something like this broke, it would be a shame to me. So, okay, I'm gonna try and get this big stuff. So this is, I should probably have left this. This is the, what do they call this? The jewel tea, or it's Halls is what it is. Halls. But let me show you. It is definitely, look at that. What a shame, right? There's bad chips on it. There's a huge crack, but I just thought, like, for decorations, it's so pretty. And there are people that collect this. Is it gold leaf, jewel tea? I'm sure you'll correct me. All of a sudden my mind went blank. So anyway, I saved it. I saved it from going to the landfill. That's all that matters, right? Then I've got these little porcelain. This is like a bisque porcelain vintage hand-painted cat. It's the ugliest thing ever, but people love cats. This is a vintage Jasco Belle. Little doggy. I have a Starbucks espresso mug. Like I said, most of this is going to the booth, guys. This is an opal house from Target. I just thought it was super cute. It's one of those wall pockets, but it also is magnetic, so you can stick it to the side of your fridge and things for pins. So I thought it was so cute. And then a glass ornament. It's not a vintage one or anything. It says made in China, but I think it will sell in one of my little craft fairs. I like to take a bunch of ornaments. Little vintage porcelain shoe. I don't see any chips or cracks on this, which, how this stuff doesn't get chipped or cracked, I don't know. So some people collect these. It's nothing, no, I don't have any huge finding here other than my Christmas tree. So there's that. Okay. Then I have, trying to kind of see what I need to put down first in this crate I have. So I found this Temptations. Temptations I have sold, man, I've done good on eBay with Temptations. It does kind of, it has slowed down a lot. I believe Temptations is like a QVC or Home Shopping Network brand, but people collect them. There are some more rare pieces, and this was a very nice casserole dish that I didn't want to leave there. It had its own stand. So I can at least put $10 on this and put it in my booth. And that's just what I'm gonna do. I've put several Temptations pieces in my booth. And they seem to sell and they do well. So there are two Pyrex pieces that I just did not, I told my sister, I said, I can't leave Pyrex. I can't, even if it's horrible condition. This one was absolutely wrecked. Both of them were wrecked. So what I did is I used and I'll actually show you since I'm in my kitchen. I used Barkeeper's Friend, and it helps to clean them up. And a lot of people, like the people that collect them, they can tell, like you can tell if someone's treated. It just kind of gives it like a more of a matte look maybe when you clean them with this. And you can tell it didn't take, do you see that kind of scruff right there? It didn't clean up, you know, all the way. But if you find a absolutely wrecked piece of Pyrex and you want it, you can treat it with Barkeeper's Friend. Make sure you wear gloves. This is, you know, toxic stuff. I'm very sure it's toxic. I think it even tells you to wear gloves. Do not rub harder or longer than necessary to remove soil or tarnish from a surface. So it's just, it's pretty toxic stuff. You just want to be careful with it, but it is the way to try and help restore like wrecked pieces of Pyrex. And you can tell this one used to be green. And what they did is they just didn't treat it right. Look at that. They washed it in the dishwasher over and over and over and over and over again. And you should not be doing that with your Pyrex. Do not wash it in the dishwasher. So I saved it from going to the landfill. I might actually keep these pieces, especially this little yellow one. I use these little bowls for a lot of things, but I don't know. I saved it. Okay, I saved it. That's what I'm gonna keep telling myself. And then I've got this. This almost looked like a Temptations, but it is not. It's just this Jello or pudding mold, and you can hang it. So you can hang it and decorate your wall with it. And it wasn't chipped or cracked, so I wanted to just bring it home with me. A little vintage crock. A lot of people use these. I remember using these when we were little for our hamsters food and water dishes. A lot of people use these for that kind of stuff, but it is just a cute little crock. And then this vintage white, oh man, I thought I got the Goodwill sticker off, but I did not, dang it. Pull it off some more. Milk glass, little, is this Anchor Hawking? I forget what these are, but I'll tell you what I use these for. Since I sew, I have the little tiny scissors, and anyone that like, if you needlepoint, if you crochet, you always have those little tiny scissors. These are great to like keep your supplies in here, but then you can hang your scissors in these little holes, and it's kind of makes it decorative, but useful at the same time. So this I am probably gonna keep myself. It's a vintage coffee jar. It still has the paper on it, which is amazing, truthfully. Has the lid. I have 3 vintage coffee jars on my cabinet up there, so I'm gonna try and make this work. And if I don't, then my sister was like, if you don't want that, I want that. So I told her I was gonna see if I could work with it, and then if I decide not to keep it, I'm gonna give it to her. So, all right. I always pick these up, even the small ones. You can find cake plates all day long, but these are usually what gets busted. Someone knocks it over. So I always pick these up, and they are heavy, but at 49 cents a pound, I wasn't worried about it. And I recently made my own cake stand with a vintage candle holder and a really pretty vintage plate. And so I was on the hunt for another one of these because I have ran out. And even in the booth, I have this one cake stand, and one day I got a call from the owner, and she said, hey, someone wants to just purchase the lid, and they will purchase it for the price that you have on the whole piece. Well, I had an extra lid because I keep these in case I run across the plates or I make a plate. And I said, go for it. And then I just took another lid and put it with the cake plate that was there. So anyway, I always pick these up. Don't not pick these up, because you would be surprised that you can sell these for some good money. And I do see a tiny chip in it. I'm not gonna be too concerned with it, but I think I may have done that actually. All right, I knew we got hit with bad storms last night, but I knew the tornado warning, the siren was going off as I was getting glass out of my car. And I was like, I do not have, there's one box I'm missing. There's one box of glass I'm missing. And I went out this morning and got it. And so yeah, the tornadoes, they went around us. Thankfully, there were some on the ground around us, but we were safe. This was on Sunday before we came back. We stopped for about an hour. My sister wasn't feeling well, so she was out in the car and she was like, just shop, do your thing. And it was super hot in there. It was just really humid. It was getting ready to rain. Whew. So I was getting ready to walk out and I just happened to go back by the bin where people kind of toss stuff back in that they decide they don't want. And there was a whole box of these vintage glasses. Like, this is a vintage Whataburger Coke. I'm putting them down in my sink because these are, I did not get these washed. 2 Theodores. These are from 1985, right? Yeah. You don't make much money on these, but I cannot leave them. I love them. 1983 Smurf glasses. This is my childhood. I was born in 79, so this is definitely my childhood. 1986, the Flintstones, and these were from Pizza Hut. And then I have 4 Garfield mugs from 1978 McDonald's. And I have sold some of these online, but they sell quicker in the booth. So I think I'm gonna put them in the booth possibly. I'll look them up and see if comps have changed over the years. But since I'm here, I'm gonna wash my hands because those were dirty, y'all. All right, so moving on. I have it's not vintage, it's a purple ball jar. People collect these. I could probably sell this for $8 on eBay, but for $8, I'm probably not gonna, I'm gonna put it in my booth for $8, so. And it's really because you have to consider shipping. You're gonna have to pack it, you're gonna have to ship it. Is it worth it? Is it worth it to do all that for $8? Less than $8 after your fees. So this is a Pyrex bowl as well. I forget this pattern, what it's called. It starts with a C. What is this pattern called? Anyway, it is Pyrex. Just a pretty bowl. And this came in those big sets. So there's that one. And then I found this Ribbon Geese Treasure Craft. Look at that. Geese are coming back, y'all. Some of these younger girls, they are getting porch goose. They all want a porch goose. I kind of want a porch goose too, because they have one. And you know, you decorate them and you dress them for different holidays and things. But anyway, the geese are coming back. I know it's crazy, but it's happening, whether you want it to or not. Let's see. Let me grab this. This is a little, I looked up this bluebird specifically. I cannot believe he wasn't cracked or chipped on his nose. He's a little Sweden. He's from Sweden, I believe. And he didn't have his sticker on it. It had been rubbed off. It was on the side. But I Google lensed this and I saw the one exactly. And these go for a little over, like usually I can sell a Bluebird around $10 to $12. And they're very easy ship because they're so tiny. But this one actually went for a little bit more. So I'll probably post him online. I just love finding these birds. I think they're just a great find. And then I have a little onyx unicorn. No, I don't think he's worth much. He kind of sits like that, but I don't think he's worth much. I couldn't find much on him, but no chips, no cracks, not that I can find. I'm trying to like be really careful. This is I cannot figure out this is the bottom. It says Germany. Now, I thought this was a mustache, tiny mustache cup, because do you see that? If you ever see these old cups that have like this hole up here, they're called mustache cups, and it's for back in the day when people drank. It kept like the coffee and stuff from hitting your upper lip. So this one had a tiny one, and I'm like, what in the world is this? So I did post this in one of my Facebook groups, and a lady said that's a creamer. So I guess it kind of keeps you from getting a bunch of cream at once, I guess. But I really was trying to look for people's advice on the brand, and no one seems to know. So it's just really pretty. Here's a Royal China, I got something on me, crystal creamer, and it does have its little logo on the bottom. Here is a glass Kurt Adler ballerina ornament. And so she's probably worth, you know, $12+ I found another one, but it was completely wrecked. The hands were chipped off, so I left it. But she seems to be in really good condition. Here is a Princess House crystal. My sister, she collects Princess House, and she said that's Princess House. So it's just a little spoon, like for condiments. Did I ask her if she wanted that? Maybe I should have asked. I don't remember if I asked her or not. And then more saucers for sure. I think these are all Nortec. Very pretty. I just hated to leave them. You can find so many pretty like saucers that just get left, you know. I hated to leave them. And then this unmarked, hand-painted, handled plate, very pretty. Okay, I think that's all on that crate. I did find a cup and saucer that matched, and this is J&G Meakin Sterling Renaissance from England. And they were in different bins. I found the cup first, and I left it, and then I went a couple bins down, and there was the saucer. And so I grabbed the saucer, and I went back and got the cup. So these look really old. They are old Bristol Delft. Let's see, 1652 to 1780. These are reproductions, hand painted in permanent colors under the glass, under the glaze. The Bristol pottery, England, founded in 1652. There's like a bunch of crazing underneath here, little tiny crazing. But these were reproductions of a very old, I guess, model, make. See the discoloring in that? So little bowls, probably like a cereal or soup bowl, and then a fruit bowl are my guesstimates. But they say reproductions on the back. This is just kind of like an acorn, little tiny, like this glass is just so petite. It's hand blown. There were two of them. I picked up one and went to grab the other one because I didn't want to bang them together. And a lady swooped down and grabbed the other one from me. And I said, are you keeping that? Because I was clearly getting it. Like it was right. I already had the other one. I was reaching to get that one. And she said, yep, and turned around and walked off. And I was not going to put this back for her after she did that to me. So I didn't really want just one. I wanted both of them because I thought that like decorations, it would be really nice. You know, you could have two, but she made it a point that I was not leaving that other one for her after she did that to me. So this came home with me. And was it wrong of me? Probably, but I don't deal with people's rudeness very well. It's something I have to work on. But to just blatantly be rude and do that to me, I was like, okay, I'm not leaving this for you, lady. So it came home with me. And I don't know how I got it home in one piece because it is super delicate. Like you can hear how delicate that glass is. So anyway, long story short, I should have just let her have it then if she wanted it that bad, but I wasn't going to. So this was very cute. I think it's a Janko, 1988. Look at that. Isn't that cute? Little hand-painted raccoon face. And then I did find a Pyrex refrigerator dish. That's what these are called, refrigerator dishes. And the lids look like this. So these, you know, they do really well in my flea market. I found this lid separately, but I do think it fits it. I think it was supposed to be, because it came out in the same rotation. It was just in two different bins. So I had found this and I was like, I'm taking this home with me because these will sell without the lids. And then this, I found the lid a couple bins down. So, and that'll just go in my flea market booth because I don't collect those. And I found several just teacups without their saucers. Very pretty. This is Nortake. I'll just see if I can find the, which design that is. This one is Royal Dover. Very pretty. Look at that. Little pedestal mug. This is Mimi. And I did find this on eBay. They don't sell for a whole lot, so they might just go in my booth. It's baby blue and like a silver, no gold. And then the inside has dragonflies and flowers. So very cute. A hand-painted little vintage vase, just in my flea market booth. And this is a very pretty unmarked creamer, vintage creamer. I love these little vintage creamer and sugar sets. I just love them. And then I found this little, it's like a bisque pitcher too. And that's just, these are not worth much at all. The fact that it was still in together, I was like, okay, I'll get it and put it in my booth. And then I found this vintage bamboo planter. The inside definitely has been used over the years for sure. It has like crazing underneath. If I can, do you see those lines? Those cracks, crazing. It's crazing. It's like underneath the glaze. So some of these can sell very well. I actually saw a few listings from Cherish that had sold, you know, this is more of like a mid-century design. So I don't know what I'm going to do with it because it does have so much crazing and the inside definitely has wear to it. So I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I'm just gonna kind of look it up some more. I might list it, I might not. I have sold another little smaller bamboo one. This one was definitely hand painted, handmade. It's got someone's initials. So who knows? I got a jelly jar full. It's an old jelly jar. It's down in my sink here. It was full of vintage keys. People, they look for vintage keys. So, you know, the crafters, they can make things out of the keys. And yeah, so I just purchased that. And since it was a jar, they let me have it for the glass price. I got this set of little praying children in these oval picture frames. One of them is loose and keeps popping out, but these are the backs, and it just needs kind of like reinforced with some, yeah, it's this one. Yeah, see it? It keeps popping out. I just need to reinforce it with some tape or something. So there are those. And then I found a picture frame. Do you see? It's kind of like a shadow box picture frame. And these are great if you craft with like buttons, or if you want to put something in there. I saw this really cool thing where like a craft that someone did, and they used old cookie cutters and they put them in a frame like this. It was so cute for Christmas. So, and I have a couple of the big gingerbread guy cookie frames, and I might, or cookie cutters, I might do something with him for this, for the craft fair, but this is like the perfect picture frame to do that with. So anyway, that is it, you guys. All of this for $27, all of this. I can't even believe it, $27, can't believe it. So it's definitely less than, I mean, I paid cents for some of this. Like I said, you know, I have over 50 pieces here. I know for sure over 50 pieces. So that's where I'm at. Thanks for joining. I did get housewares and clothing. I'm gonna try and do some hauls of that, but my parents are coming to town today. So I'm gonna put everything down for a couple days and just keep trying to at least post a couple items every day on eBay to keep active. So thanks for joining. If you like this kind of content, please hit the like, subscribe, send me an emoji, something. It really helps me out. And thanks so much. Have a blessed day.